Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to start branching out into mental health topics on my channel. It's something that's very important to me as someone with multiple mental illnesses, and I think it will be helpful for you guys with considering the topic that I'm going to talk about today. Today is going to be about self-care ideas in the time of Corona, in the time of all of this shit happening. It's been a year and we're still stuck at home. At least most of us are stuck at home, and it's really wearing down on me. Really, I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. And I just thought that this list of things that I do might be, beneficial for someone else. This is more towards someone who does not have a lot of energy to do much of anything. Like, I'm not going to ask you to go out and take a walk. Like, in Arizona, it's 115 degrees in the summer. I am not taking a walk in the summer. And even if it wasn't 115 degrees, I just do not have that kind of energy. You know what I mean? Do not have the spoons for that kind of shit. So I'm not going to go and tell you, that you should eat right or you should exercise, to make yourself feel better. No, this is things that you can actually do most of the time that will help. So let's get started. I want to preface this by saying that I do experience multiple mental illnesses, bipolar disorder, OCD, PTSD, and I also have fibromyalgia. So there's a lot of things that I just don't have the energy or the spoons to deal with most of the time, especially in a stressful time like this. So keep that in mind when you're listening to this list, because these are all things that I have done, that I have tried to do, things that have worked for me. So hopefully they'll work for you too. Tip number 1, take a shower. Now, I will be the first to admit that I do not shower as often as I'm supposed to. I am guilty of that. I am in a depression right now, therefore I really just don't have the energy to shower every day. It's not something that's really high up on my list of things that I have to do, like eating and sleeping. But if I need a pick-me-up or just a way to cleanse my brain, showering can be good to just cleanse whatever's going on in your brain right now. Like, if you just need to reset your brain, be like, I can't think about this right now, or I can't deal with this right now, take a shower. It's a good reset, and hopefully you'll feel better at the end, but at least you'll be cleaner at the end. Tip number 2 is take a nap. There is no shame in napping. I love taking naps. I take a nap almost every day. It's refreshing, it's comforting, it's just an all-around good experience. Who doesn't like laying down and sleeping? I'm sure there are people who don't, but for the most part, everyone that I know absolutely loves taking naps. And so I encourage you to take a nap because, why not? If you have the time, there's nothing wrong with lying down for a little while. There's no shame in that. There's nothing that says that you have to be awake all day. If you have the time, go ahead and take a nap. Tip number 3 is to treat yourself, but in moderation. Now, usually when I treat myself, this means that I'm buying delivery instead of cooking. A lot of the times I don't have the energy to cook something for lunch or dinner, and so I'll just open up DoorDash or the Chipotle app or something and order some food. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have the capability, if you have the money and the stability to be able to do that, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you just don't have the energy to do anything, to cook for yourself. And it's better to eat something that's delivery than to not eat at all. So don't be ashamed to order delivery, even if it's multiple times a week, because you just don't have the energy or the capacity to make food. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, do keep in mind that this is for people who have enough money to be able to do that. If you just are like so strapped for cash and you don't have that much money, and if you did order delivery, it would mess up your budget, don't do it. But if you do have the ability to do that, I see no problem with the occasional, like, I don't have the spoons, I'm going to order delivery. And conversely, like, it doesn't have to be delivery. It could be a small something that you've wanted for a while. Like, don't go overboard. Don't order like $100 worth of something. But if there's something that you've been wanting and you've been looking forward to getting it, and you have the money and you have the disposable income, there's again nothing wrong with treating yourself. Now, like, I find that just the anticipation and looking forward to getting something in the mail or waiting for the UPS guy and stuff like that, like, just that anticipation can be really, really a good feeling. And I sometimes will buy things just to feel good, and that is something that I need to work on. But that's why I want you guys to make sure that you take care of what you're buying and you be aware of what you're buying, and if you can't afford the money, then don't freaking do it. But for the most part, treating yourself on occasion is a great way to feel better. Tip number 4 is to get some fresh air. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about going outside and going for a walk, and I'm still not going to talk about that because that's not what I mean. I mean opening a window, opening your door and keeping the screen door, closed so that you get the fresh air into your lungs. And that's the main goal, is to get something, from the outside in. And I find that just opening a window, just a crack, just so that, you can hear the birds and you can hear the people outside, and that can, help connect you to the rest of the world when you can't really be around other people. And also, I just really like the smell of fresh air. Just the smell of it is really nice. So if you feel like I should be going out and going for a walk, or I should be going out more and doing more things, like, just open a window, open a door, and just experience the fresh air. And that can work too. Tip 5 is to organize your space. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just like 1 or 2 things that you pick up and you move to where they're supposed to go. There's nothing wrong with not taking on the whole burden at once. Because I know that if your place is really cluttered, looking at all of it can be like, how could I even start this? How could I even begin to do this? There's so much stuff. But if you just pick up one thing and you're like, where does this go? And you put it where it goes, it can help you feel better. I find that when I declutter my space, I declutter my brain. All the stuff that's been going around and like bothering me, like, well, it gets leveled out, it gets smoothed out, it gets spread out when I can actually spread out in my space. So, sometimes there's not much that you can do. Sometimes you are just too exhausted to clean everything, and then it wears on you and you're like, oh, I should be doing that, I should be doing that. No, you don't have to do all of it at once. It's not a requirement. Just like any progress is progress. So pick up a couple things and put them where they go. And, that's progress. It might make you feel better. Tip 6 is to write it down. Write down what's bothering you. Write down what's worrying you. The things that are rattling around in your brain. Like, if you have things that you need to remember to do, write those down. If you have things that you just can't stop thinking about, write those down. And maybe if you feel like it, you could keep writing about why those things bother you or what you want to do about them. But for the most part, just writing down what's in your head can give you a lot of relief, because it unloads that stuff from your brain onto a piece of paper so that you don't have to constantly worry about it. Because if you really want to remember it, you can go and look at the piece of paper, but you don't have to, keep it in the forefront of your brain lest something happen that you're not prepared for. So I have a notebook where I just write down the stuff that's bothering me. And, sometimes be like, well, what was bothering me? I need to make sure that I take care of that. And I can just go back in it and be like, okay, on that day, that's what I was worried about. Do I really want to do anything about it? Is there really anything I can do about it? And most of the time, no, there's nothing I can do about it, because that's how anxiety is. But writing it down got it out of my head, and I'm no longer constantly thinking about it. So give that a shot. Tip 8 has 2 parts. The first part is just distract yourself. If you're worried about something, or if you're sad and you can't stop thinking about something, go do something else. Literally anything. Just pick an activity. It could be a nap. It could be a shower. It could be writing that stuff down. Or it could be something fun that you enjoy doing. If you get any joy out of doing anything, pick that thing and do it, if at all possible. For me, I enjoy crocheting. I enjoy drawing. I enjoy scrapbooking. And when I'm bored, or when I'm just too stressed to worry about anything, especially when I'm stressed, I love to crochet, because it's very meditative, especially if you have a repeating pattern. You can just kind of zone out and just go in with the stitches. And after a while, it's been a half hour has passed and I wasn't even aware of it. It's very good for when you kind of want to dissociate, but also it's a meditative practice. It's calming. I enjoy it a lot. But anything that distracts you, anything that gets your mind off of the things that are worrying you, is a worthwhile endeavor. And on that note, part 2 of tip 8 is just get creative. Just do something creative. Even if you hate your art, even if you hate your singing, your dancing, even if you think that you're not good at it, find some art outlet that you enjoy doing, that you don't have to show anyone. No one else has to be involved with this. You can burn it when you're done with it. But just the act of doing it, the act of creating something, of expressing yourself creatively, can be so good for your mood. I find that even if I'm in a really bad mood, if I just go out and just sketch something, just draw something that's in my brain, maybe draw the things that are bothering you. This is how it feels when I feel super stressed. Go ahead and do that. There's so many ways that you can express yourself creatively, and it's always been helpful for me. I consider myself a very creative person, and art has been a great outlet for my stress and my depression. So, go out there and make something. Tip 9 is to take it easy, just in general. Wear your pajamas. Forgo makeup. Just sit on the couch for a while. If you have some Zoom meeting or work meeting that you have to dress up for, whatever, okay, dress up for that. But as soon as that's over, you can take your freaking clothes off. There's no one that you have to prove your preparedness to. You don't have to look your best at all times, especially when you're in your own house and no one else is looking at you. If you want to put on makeup, if that makes you feel good, then by all means, put on makeup, dress up, make yourself feel good. But if you find it a chore, if you find it something that you don't look forward to, something that bothers you, go ahead and just not do it. Don't go and perform for other people. Don't do anything that you're not comfortable with. If you want to spend an hour on the couch doing absolutely nothing, and you have the time, and there's a way that you can do that without hurting yourself, mentally or physically or monetarily, go ahead and do it. I don't understand a lot of people who are just no, I have to be productive every single minute of the day. We are in quarantine. We are in a pandemic that has been going on for over a year. We are exhausted. Everyone is exhausted. I am exhausted. You are exhausted. It is so much. And I have never felt so tired doing so little. You know what I mean? And I'm sure most people do feel like there's just so much that has happened and it's hard to process it and it weighs on you. It really gets to you, and that's why writing things down can help, and that's why, distracting yourself can help. But sometimes you just need to not do anything. Sometimes you just need to laze about, like watch a funny movie, eat popcorn in your pajamas, like go ahead and be the lazy bum that you've always wanted to be. There is nothing wrong with that. If it gives you a break mentally and physically, it is a good thing. And my 10th and final tip is to interact with friends. Even if it's just calling them, even if you're messaging them on Facebook or via text, just having a conversation with someone that you haven't had a conversation with in a while, Like, there are ways that you can do in-person or remote game nights. I know that there are games that you can play on your phone with other people. And on that note, there's video games. If you have a video game set up, if you stream, if you are an aspiring streamer, like, go ahead and get your video games set up and have fun with your friends. And I find that just watching other people streaming video games can be a good interactive experience, just a way to feel connected to other people. But especially if there's people that you have not talked to in a while, give them a call, give them a text. I mean, they probably want to hear from you too. And if you have people in your home, roommates, family members, get together, have a game night, have a sit-down dinner together where you talk about your day. Just interacting with other human beings in any little way can be so refreshing and just relieve that loneliness, even if for a couple of hours. It weighs, especially on me, just how lonely I am. And any interaction that I get with other people is just so freeing, and it makes me feel so good. And at the end of it, my mood is boosted. I'm feeling great. So, find someone you haven't talked to in a while, a strange family member, a cousin, a friend that you haven't talked to since high school. If you don't have the social anxiety to like prevent you from doing that, talk to someone. Talk to anyone. It can help. And that's it for my 10 tips. Thank you for joining me. I hope if any of this helps you that you end up starting to feel better. And thank you for watching this video. I had fun making it. I really had to think about all the things that I have done and that have worked for me, because not all of the things that I have done have worked for me. But as someone with multiple disabilities, with low spoons, someone who is often exhausted, these things, even if I can't do them all the time, they do help when I can do them. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my content, consider liking and subscribing. I put out new videos Wednesdays and Saturdays. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Mwah!